Hello and welcome to Kids Corner. It's Shirley and Sir Winston here. And today I'm sort of dressed up in sparkly clothes because I'm going to let my imagination run wild as we do the three wise men. Now sometimes they were known as wise men, Magi, kings. They're talked about coming from the east. And although we talk about them in the Christmas story often as being there the night that Jesus was born along with the shepherds, they actually came much later, maybe as much as 2 years later. They had a long journey. Traditionally, sometimes we celebrate them as coming on Epiphany, January 6th. So what are we going to need to make the three wise men? Well, scissors. Pencil and eraser are probably quite handy. Crayons, markers, colored pencil, paint, and of course our trusty glue. And if we have three toilet paper rolls, because there's three wise men. Scrap paper is useful, and this is where you can let your imagination run wild. I had a look downstairs, found some pipe chenille, some pearls, tin foil could be useful, and I even found sequins. So let's get started on the easiest version. Once you clean off all the paper on your toilet paper roll, what I did was I marked down 3/4 of an inch or a couple of centimeters, drew a line around, and I colored one. This is a gold color, yellow for the crown, and colored underneath all one color. Then I cut out the pattern for the hands and the face, and I colored that in. And you want to make sure that you color the hands and the face the same color. So what are we going to do? We're going to glue our face on. So put some glue on the face. I'm spreading it around with my finger, picking it up, and you'll notice that all our faces are straight across the top so that they'll line up with the crown. And on our sheet, we have shapes for gifts. So in this case, I just drew out a little rectangle, colored it, and I'm going to put it, the glue stops sticking to my finger, underneath his chin, down a piece. Then I'm going to take his hands, and we're going to put glue on the hands and place them as if he was holding on to the gift. Now, if you want it to be really fancy, you can decorate the crown with some of the sequins. If you had shiny paper, and there he is. Now, you can make different variations of the crown. You can see on this one that's very similar. I did a sequin in the middle. This one, I just cut out a strip of tin foil and glued it around, and I made the gift out of tin foil. And this one, I cut out a shape that you can see in the pattern straight along one side and up and down, and colored it, and I used a sequence for the gift. Shall we make a slightly more difficult version? So there were other faces with necks on our pattern, and what I did was I cut one of them out and colored it. And I also cut out the hands and colored them, but what I did was I drew fingers on them. And it's helpful to look at your hand to do fingers, to know that your thumb comes just above the base here, and your fingers are different lengths. And when you're drawing your hands on this, you have to think of them like your own hands, that you've got the thumbs on different sides. And I did what I did making the others is I kind of put where I wanted the face to be and made some marks around that and used that to color in things. So what I did was I actually cut little triangles off the top to create a crown, and I drew around where I wanted the top of the head to be, and to make it a little fancier I added some sequins. And I carried through how I made the hair on this one so that the hair would come all the way down, created shoulders with a robe that would come down, and then the tunic that would be open. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up our face, put glue on the face, spread it around with our finger, and then we're going to line it up with the top of the head coming up against the crown, the neck in the middle of the tunic. Then I think I'm going to make my gift a sequin. Sometimes this can be a little bit more challenging to get glued on, but look for the flattest part of the sequin that you can put glue on, and then hold it a few minutes to see that it's glued. And there we go. And then we're going to take our hands and put glue on them. And when you're gluing on your hand, you want to make sure that it would be how you would hold something. So you see that I've got my finger sticking, or my thumb sticking up, so you put your hand on so that the thumb part is up. And you try to align that against the edge of the robe or the cloak so that it looks like the hand is coming out of that. So we put on our second one, line it up against the edge of the cloak, and there we go with another king. Now if you want to get really challenging, you can take your toilet paper roll and you can draw a king right onto it and color it. And you can see that I gave this king curly hair, made his crown out of tin foil, and I had it coming out that he had sleeves, and so that the hands are coming out of sleeves, and a scrap piece of tin foil helped create the gift. And there we are, some different set of kings. Shall we have a little prayer together? If you could bow your heads and repeat after me. Loving God, help us to be like the Magi, searching for you and bringing our gifts to serve. Help us to be kind to others and be kind to your world. Amen. And we'll see you next time at Kids Corner. And if you could send me pictures at the address that I'll show, I would love to post them and share them to see what nativity sets you've made. See you next time at Kids Corner.